Hey, Ron here from Military Images Magazine with a new episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail. Today we're going to go back to 1863, not in the United States. We're going to go across the Atlantic to Great Britain, and we're going to look at one of the great collectors of cartes de visite, and that is Charles Dickens. Yes, that Charles Dickens, the novelist, the great man of British literature, was also a collector of cartes de visite. That makes him one of the first generation of photo collectors. And as you might imagine, Dickens, who had something to say about everything, had things to say about the little photographs, those little paper photographs, the cartes de visite. He wrote his essay, which is called The Philosophy of Yourself, and it appeared in his magazine called All the Year Round. It was the June 20th, 1863 issue. So June 20th, we are a couple weeks away, less than a couple weeks away from the Battle of Gettysburg and the surrender of the garrison at Vicksburg. So just to give you a sense of what's going on in America at that time, also in America, collectors are absorbing cartes de visite and putting them in albums, much the same as Dickens was over in England. So his essay is terrific. It's rather long and a little too long to read it in its entirety, but I do want to pick out a couple of passages that I think really get to the heart of where he was going. So without further ado, and in an American accent, not a British accent, I'm going to read to you from Dickens' essay from 1863. So here we go. Quote, "From whichever point we regard it, this carte de visite movement is full of strange features and stranger helps to the insight of mankind. It is a most revolutionary movement. It has done much, 1,000 times more than ever democrat or demagogue could do, to demolish the right divine to govern wrong. From the cartes de visite, we learn the astounding fact that kings and queens are in dress and features precisely like other people. Marvelous, preternatural as this may seem, it is true. Wings do not grow on the shoulders." I have to chuckle. "Wings do not grow upon the shoulders of monarchs. They are compelled to tread like common mortals, and many of them look very coarse and vulgar mortals too. They have the same number of arms and legs as us plebeians. Nay, more than that, some stoop unwieldingly at the shoulders, and others are unmistakably bow-legged. Yes, bow-legged. In the grand old days of Spanish etiquette, the Queen of Spain had no legs, but this destructive carte de visite mania has made short work of the fictions of etiquette. The ex-Queen of Naples appears in knickerbockers. The ex-king stands sulkily with his hands in the pockets of a pair of very ill-made peg-tops. The Emperor of Austria, in his scanty white tunic, looks very much like a journeyman baker listening to the second report of Mr. Tremahir. The bluff King of Holland has a strong family likeness to Washington Irving's Peter Stuyvesant. The King of Italy is like Tony Lumpkin with a pair of enormous mustaches. Queen Christina closely resembles the widow in Tristram Shandy, and the King of Prussia looks like a drill sergeant, a similitude, perchance, not very far from the actual truth. As for that incomparable carte of the Emperor Napoleon III in a plain frock and a shiny hat, with his pretty, graceful wife on his arm, his mustaches carefully twisted, and a waggish smile on his face, what does he look like? The dark and inscrutable politician, the arch plotter, the gloomy man of December? No, not a bit of it. He looks like a confident gentleman who knows a thing or two, who is going down into the city to do a little stroke of business and will afterwards buy his wife a new bonnet on Ludgate Hill or a new dress in St. Paul's churchyard. It is all over with the right divine. De Gratia might as well be effaced from the European currency. Sovereigns may reign in the hearts of their people, and there are some who do so reign, and long may they reign, say I, but they can no longer hope to perpetuate their sway by throwing the dust of flattering portraits in the eyes of the multitude. Poor old George IV. What would he have thought of a carte visite? How would he have felt at finding himself bracketed as a twin brother of Mr. Tilbury? You can't disguise your wig in a carte visite. The false parting will come out. Padding is easily detected. The rods of crinoline are defined. And here we go, my favorite part, the ending. The king may sit in his counting house counting out his money. The queen may be in the kitchen eating bread and honey. But the operator pops in at the window and focuses the twain, and there is no mistake at all about their being very plain. So there you have it. Charles Dickens, 1863, commenting on the carte visite craze that swept across Europe into the United States and across the rest of the world. We'll see you next time on Life on the Civil War Research Trail.